General Hospital spoilers reveal dangerous situations, shocking information, surprising confessions, and so much more. You won't want to miss a moment of this action-packed episode. Avery Kristen Pohl made a run for it as soon as she could to get away from the crazy people who busted her out of Spring Ridge, but of course her water broke and she ended up on the cold ground. Ryan, John Lindstrom, seems to be as freaked out as is at the prospect of delivering her baby right then and there. He tries to convince her that he is the only one who can help her, but she is not so sure. At least he has medical training because he was a pediatrician all those years ago before being revealed as a serial killer. Back at Windermere, Felicia, Christina Wagner, takes off through the tunnels and does her best to save Austin's, Roger Howarth, life. Will she run into Mac, John J. York, and other members of the Port Charles Police Department by then as they travel to Spoon Island in the living room? A curious Ava, Maura West, has to hear what Heather Allie Mills has to tell her, and boy does Heather have a tale to tell. Ava learns that Ryan orchestrated everything that went wrong in her marriage via befriending Spencer, Nicholas Alexander Chavez, at boarding school, stalking her, and even seducing Nicholas was all part of Ryan's plan to break up Ava and Nicholas by using his daughter. This makes Ava more vengeful than ever. After being so happy on his wedding day marrying a woman he loved years ago, Curtis's, Donald Turner, life came crashing down around him when he learned that Portia Brooke Kerr had lied to him and he may be Trina's father. He finally lets out his feelings to his own father when Curtis confides in Marshal Robert Gossett about everything that went down in that Metro Court hotel room with his new wife. Curtis is appalled when Marshall starts to defend Portia. Trina, Tabiana Ali, is also reeling from her mother's deceit, but at least she has Spencer to lean on. In fact, she begs him not to stop kissing her. However, it looks like the romance has to come to an end when Alexis, Nancy Lee Grahn, delivers some surprising news to Spencer and Trina, and we bet it has something to do with Esm's origins. Learning who her father is will likely explain a lot. Your GH Spoilers preview video is here. Find out what the Port Charles power players are plotting this week. Victor Charles Shaughnessy is ready for the next step in his grand plan, and for this he needs Liesl, Kathleen Gaddy. All right, doctor, let's go make history, he smirks. Liesl doesn't look too happy about this. Outside the hideout, we see Laura, Jenny Francis, Curtis, Donald Turner, Drew, Cameron Matheson, and Valentine, James Patrick Stewart, trying to find a way in as we hear in a voiceover Trina, Tabiana Ali, say, Victor has guards all over this place. It's clear she's starting to panic. Curtis isn't giving up though. I'm going to bring them home safely, he promises Laura as we see guards dragging Trina and Spencer, Nicholas Alexander Chavez, into the main dining area of the Haunted Star. Is it a promise Curtis can keep though? Every second things get more and more out of control. Back in Port Charles, Robert, Tristan Rogers, panics to Holly, Emma Sams, and Anna Finola Hughes. This is a most dangerous mission, he's right. It is. Every decision the captives and the rescue team make counts. See it all for yourself in the sneak peek video below. GH made its debut in 1963 and was created by the husband and wife team of Frank and Doris Hersley, taking place at a hospital but in an unnamed city. In fact, the setting wasn't named as Port Charles until the 1970s. General Hospital is the longest-running soap opera currently on air, from legendary Laura's Jenny Francis, 4 decades on and off and back on as the show's leading heroine, to Anna Devane's Finola Hughes, super spy exploits, to Sonny Corinthos, Maurice Bernard, and his mobster activities. GH certainly knows how to please their viewers. More than 5 decades of gripping drama as well as Love in the Afternoon have kept this ABC daytime soap on the air and winning daytime Emmys. Epic romances, action-adventure stories, and love on the run have enthralled viewers over the years. General Hospital spoilers reveal spy games, mother-daughter drama, young love, and so much more. You won't want to miss a moment of this emotional episode. Now that Anna Finola Hughes managed to spook Eileen, Heather Mazer, into being their spy on the inside with Victor Charles Shaughnessy, Anna tells the deputy mayor exactly what she wants from her, and Eileen delivers. Anna and Valentine, James Patrick Stewart, are surprised by the new information that Eileen gives them and wonder if they are one step closer to coming out of hiding and bringing Victor down. Speaking of Victor, he is happy to run into Liesel, Kathleen Daddy, and they actually manage to catch up and find some common ground while being civil to one another. Do they have something in common now that Liesel has lost 2 children and Victor thinks he has lost on Trina? Tabiana Ali arrives at the hospital to see Spencer, Nicholas Alexander Chavez, but ends up running into her mother instead. This is the first time they have seen each other since Portia's Brooke Care wedding night, and Portia wants to talk. However, talking to Portia is the last thing Trina wants, and she lets her know it. All Trina wants to do on Wednesday is comfort Spencer after he didn't get to take baby Ace home. Curtis, Donald Turner, also has his own surprise when he accompanies Marshall, Robert Gossett, to learn his genetic testing results. Do they discover that Marshall never had schizophrenia after learning what happened to her at Windermere, and seeing Spencer try to take her baby, Esme Avery Kristen Pohl draws a line in the sand and stands her ground. The old Esme comes out as she says she is not going to just do what everyone wants of her anymore. She may not remember things, but she also knows she has rights. To that end, she makes Laura, Jenny Francis, an offer. Will this offer be a way to appease both her and Spencer? If there's one General Hospital character who gets more heat for what seems like nothing when you compare her to other soap characters, it's Nina Reeves. While we are not saying Nina Cynthia Watrous always makes the best decisions and never did terrible things, her crimes in the scheme of things can seem negligible at best. After all, this is a soap where a lifelong career criminal, also currently Nina's boyfriend, is an anti-hero who walks from every crime like the Teflon Don he is. We have a man who, along with his brothers, tried to freeze the world roaming free to charmingly menace Port Charles. Finally, let us never forget that a rapist was once the soap's biggest male lead, and when he married the woman he raped, that wedding became the most watched soap opera episode ever. Sure, it was 1981, and yes, times have definitely changed, but let us look at Nina's crimes and Nina's origin. It makes sense that Nina will always be known as the woman who induced Ava's Maura West labor and then stole her baby. There is no way to condone that, but there was always a way to explain it. When we first met Nina nearly a decade ago, she had just woken from a 22-year coma and believed it was still 1992. She was a young married woman not much older than Jocelyn, Eden McCoy, and Trina, Tabiana Ali, when her own mother put her in that coma by injecting her daughter with an overdose of an antidepressant. While Madeline Donna Mills was only hoping to induce a miscarriage and help end Nina's marriage, she induced a decades-long coma instead. Nina came out of that coma still believing she was pregnant, only to learn the year was 2014, her husband, Silas Michael Easton, had moved on without her, and her baby was gone. Slowly, she experienced a psychotic break, especially after learning that Ava had given birth to Silas's child around when her baby would have been due, and was pregnant with a second girl all those years later. Nina did her time in Shady Brook for taking Avery while Avery was still an infant, and the fact that she wasn't in her right mind and was delusional was wrapped up 8 long years ago. After that, Nina might not have always been mature, but she never did anything that was purely evil. With Michelle Stafford in the role, we were reminded often that Nina still had the maturity of a college student, knew little of the world around her and the changes that happened during the decades she was comatose, and that immaturity gave way to impulsiveness. Through it all, her desire to be a mother has been first and foremost. She wanted to have one with Franco, but he did not want biological children. She also learned she was in early menopause and tried to adopt a child, but she failed. She felt she could finally have everything she wanted when she married Valentin and became a stepmother to Charlotte. But there is no denying she was over the top in spoiling the little girl and ridiculous in her treatment of third-grade teacher Willow Tett. When Nina learned her child really survived and her mother had given a little girl away, another dream seemed like it came true for Nina, especially when she believed that child was Sasha. To learn that both Valentin and Sasha had tricked her so that Sasha could make a little money and Valentin could play the hero in her life nearly broke Nina. But there has always been forgiveness, both from Nina and for Nina. Today Sasha is like a daughter to Nina, and Valentin is her friend. Ava, of all people, is her very best girlfriend. As for Sunny, the only other person she has truly wronged since those first days out of her coma, he not just forgave her, he fell in love with her. Since 2014, Nina has been played by two powerhouse soap vets who have infused the character with different traits. Stafford gave Nina a quirky and flighty nature, while Cynthia Watrous brings out a more mature, but not totally mature, Nina, who can admit to her mistakes, even when they are huge. That immaturity is still there as a result of the coma, but she is certainly not some horrible ogre that she is often made out to be. Between 2014, when she took Avery as a result of a psychotic break, and 2021, when Nina made that massive Nixon Falls mistake, what had she really done to anyone except be a rude PTA mom to Willow, when she didn't want to accept that Charlotte was indeed a bully? At one time, Nina was even a hero to the people who hate her most today: Carly, Michael, and Willow. In 2020, Nina got up on the stand and testified against Nell in a custody fight for Wiley Corinthos. To thank her, Carly decided not to inform Nina that Nell was the daughter Nina had been looking for when Carly learned that fact. She claimed she didn't want to burden Nina with that knowledge, but she had also pointedly said to Jax she also feared Nina would again question what happened the night Nell died and learn that Carly did indeed hesitate before trying to save her. Carly made a decision for Nina and her life for Carly. She never fails to remain in character, and that is neither a condemnation of Carly nor Laura Wright, who plays her. It's just who Carly is. Even after learning Carly kept that monumental secret about her daughter, Nina's first instinct was to tell Carly that Sonny was alive within mere minutes of spotting him in Nixon Falls, and realizing he had amnesia. She called Carly to tell her to come get her missing husband, but Carly yapped away as Carly tends to do, chastising Nina for this or that as Carly also tends to do. Nina made a split-second totally wrong decision to keep the Sonny secret, but it was also completely prompted by Carly. Do two wrongs make a right? Nope. But what do you do with three wrongs? In 2022, it was immensely clear that Carly never learned her lesson from the Nell secret debacle and how it sent Nina's Nixon Falls deceit into motion. If Carly had learned anything, she never would have kept the identity of Nina's other daughter from her after learning Nina had twins and Willow was Nell's sister. Carly claims she did it to protect Willow, but it's just another case of Carly playing with people's lives using one of her favorite tactics, keeping the identity of their children from them. She did it with her own son, Michael. She did it when she didn't tell Sonny he was Christina's father. She did it when she let Nicholas believe that Jax was Spencer's dad. It's what Carly does. Carly also kidnaps old ladies and came to town to seduce her bio-mom's husband as revenge for giving her up as an infant. Yes, Nina and Carly have both made mistakes, but Nina shows remorse, Carly does not. And Nina is the result of a 22-year coma induced by her mother, while Carly's biggest gripe when she arrived in Port Charles was that she was adopted by a mother who loved her. In Soap Hub's view, Nina deserves a break. She deserves to get to know her daughter, despite the years of animosity and also tepid friendship between them. She does not deserve Willow's irrational hate for her, that is for sure. If Carly and so many others can be forgiven for their decades' worth of egregious sins, why can't Nina Reeves?